falling. It's called falling.
No, control dive.
Well, Grandma,
Okay.
what did you think of Independence Day Resurgence, which is basically a sequel to the 20-year-old movie Independence Day, in which aliens attack Earth, and Earth defends itself, and we repel the aliens. And in this one, as one might assume, the aliens come back and they attack Earth again, and it's up to Earth again to defend itself. And so we have lots of battling the aliens
Yes, we
and
do.
trying to figure out what the aliens are trying to do and that sort of thing. What did you think?
Why are they back?
Well,
Why are they doing this again?
they're just mean.
Yes, they're aliens.
Yes. Okay. So what did you think?
Well, in the 20 years since the first film, they make quite a clear case for the fact that humans on our planet have bonded. They are together now.
Yes.
And as they did 20 years ago in repelling the aliens, they come together for this new mission, which is to repel the aliens and figure out why are they here. What is the deal here? It was nice, I thought, to see the characters from the 20-year-old movie, but you didn't really have to have seen the original
No,
to enjoy this film.
not really.
I also liked the fact that the children from 20 years ago were now major characters featured in this Resurgence film.
Right.
They were grown up 20 years ago, if they were 8 or 10, now they are 20 years later, and trained in various ways to join into the defense of the world. It
Mhm.
was my problem that I have with this kind of film is something that the movie makers enjoy doing, and that is using all of their special effects skills and tools to have all these fantastic battles in the sky. My problem is it's too much. There's too many little airplanes flying around, too many whatevers, going on all at the same time. And I understand that if you suspend your disbelief, you're to realize that a lot of this could be happening. I mean, it could happen, in the world of the future.
Well, the aliens are trying to take over, Grandma.
Well, yes, and they did make the point at the beginning of the film that we benefited from some of the alien knowledge
Right.
that we gained in our first contact with the aliens.
Well, as they said at the beginning, they had 20 years to use the alien technology
That's
to
right.
try and defend themselves from a
And they
future
had all
attack.
these stations all over the earth and in the space above the earth, all around.
Right.
All of that was very well explained to those of us who are not real scientific minded. But I did enjoy it. I liked the story and I liked the characters, and I'm glad we went. I did.
Okay.
So what did you think, sir?
Well, I thought it was quite interesting and pretty good. Having said that, it has a lot of problems. I think its main problem is that there was just too much story. Again,
It was
think,
complicated. It really was.
well, I mean, the first, they tried to, in some ways, to replicate the first story in that they had a lot of different characters and they had different situations going on all at the same time, and they all sort of, these stories were all going simultaneously, and they eventually all ended up, solving themselves at the end of the movie. So they tried to do the same thing with this one, which is not a problem in that, except that the characters went through too many different situations. They had, in some ways, enough different sort of situations and things that the characters went through to make 2 or 3, good movies. What they did, in essence, though, was to sort of cut out a lot of the exposition and just sort of go through all the highlights in a way. One particular one that I can point to is at one point some of the pilots, they get inside the alien spacecraft. Well, they get in and then they get out. There's very little of them actually doing anything inside there. They build a whole sort of internal world and they explain it very briefly, but there's a whole story there that they didn't tell.
I agree.
It told them getting in and it told them how they got out, but and then there's situations like that all through this movie where it's a really good idea, but they just don't pursue it. They don't really, flesh it out, and that sort of bothered me.
I agree with that particular situation you pointed out. I couldn't figure out what they did while they were inside. They got in. They did something, and then they came out.
They didn't really tell. Again, they just didn't flesh out that part of the story. But again, there were different things like that all through the movie where they sort of get it, they set it up, and then they end it without really pursuing it very much. Again, it's a lot of good ideas. But again, you would expect if it were, say, a couple of movies or even 3 different movies, that they would have a lot more to these situations.
So you think maybe they tried to cram too much?
Definitely.
Into this.
Definitely.
I agree with that.
Again, this is another situation where, again, they're trying to set up a series of movies.
More Independence Days?
Yeah,
that's right.
Well, again, don't tell how it ends, but again, they're trying to set it up for sequels, and they wanted to get a lot of concepts in, things that they can use for future movies. But again, I think that was a mistake. I mean, I think that you tell the story that you have and just tell it well, and then move on to future movies if there are future movies.
Planting the seed for the next story. Necessarily, there was a little too much of that.
A little too much.
Yeah.
All the actors I thought were good. They did a good job with what they were trying to do. And again, the special effects I thought was fine. I mean, I would recommend it just because it's really interesting. I mean, I think that they didn't entirely succeed with what they were trying to do, but they throw a lot of interesting ideas out there, and it was, I thought, again, interesting to follow it and see what was going on, but it just wasn't perfect, I would say. So, Grandma, what would your final report card be on this one?
I enjoyed the film. It lived up to my expectations. I did have, some problems with so much activity, so much warfare,
Yeah.
But as far as the movie goes, it's a 1 thumb up movie for me. Yes, I do recommend it. What about you?
Yeah, I recommend it too. Again, don't expect everything to make sense or it to be perfect. But again, I think it's got a lot of interesting stuff going on.
It does. Yes.